Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the staff at an Eastern Kentucky hospital become more than healthcare workers to get a man back on his feet after he lost everything to a devastating fire. And we take a look at an often unseen role during times of emergencies to see the importance of telecommunications.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning to you. 5:33 on this. It's Wednesday. I'm Dakota Makris. Good morning. Let's take it over to Cameron for a look at our forecast. And Cameron, it's a cold start to the day, and I don't think it's going to get much warmer.
No, you're exactly right. So you can just do the forecast for me, because I mean you already know it, Dakota. So go ahead and take it for a stroll.
No, I'm good. You can have it.
Yeah, it's going to be chilly today. It's been kind of cool the past couple of days, but it's going to get even cooler as we go over the next couple of days. As some cooler air is going to roll into the region later on tonight and also into your Thursday as well. Here's a live look over at Somerset this morning. 28 degrees, and we're over at downtown right now. You can see a little bit of ice on the camera there in downtown Somerset right now. We had a busy overnight across the region as we had snow, sleet, freezing rain, and regular rain as well. The bulk of the rain is now moving off to the east, but we do still have a little bit of some showers out there, mainly near the Kentucky and Virginia border, over southern Harlan County and portions of Lee, Wise, Dickinson, and Buchanan counties in Virginia as well. We could see a few more spotty showers into the morning, but most of us are starting to dry out for your Wednesday. Temperatures are chilly, below freezing for most of us. 28 in Jackson, 27 for Pikeville, 28 also in Clintwood, and 29 over in London. So a chilly day is on tap across the region. A winter weather advisory continues until 10 a.m. this morning for the possibility of some slick spots on the road. So be sure to use caution and give yourself plenty of time out there. That full first alert forecast coming up in just a little bit. Dakota?
All right, Cameron, thank you. One Floyd County man is now calling Magoffin County his home after a fire knocked him down and human nature worked to pick him back up. WYMT's Betty Forbes has his story.
Gary Frank is pretty settled into his Salyersville home. You would almost never know that only a few weeks ago, he lost everything.
He got burnt kind of bad back here, and I didn't know it.
His Floyd County home caught fire in December, sending him to the hospital after he rescued his pet from the flames.
Knowing what am I going to do? I don't know what to do now. And the fire was just getting so hot, and so when I turned my head to throw water on it, it would burn. I could feel it burning my head.
Igniting a new journey he never could have predicted.
He did not expect anything from us. And when he just kept going, who am I? Who am I? You know, I needed him to give me a little hope again.
The emergency room nursing staff at Highlands ARH connected with Frank, seeing his strength and attitude in the midst of uncertainty, and decided to be more than healthcare providers.
Being a nurse is hugging somebody when they've lost everything they have, and telling them how sorry you are, and not that it's going to be okay, because they don't know that. With
calls to the community, the staff was able to get the 82-year-old patient furniture, clothing, and an apartment.
Can't thank you enough. I'll be forever thanking you.
3 days later, he has everything he needs and more, and it's all because of the love of a little community.
Frank says the kindness he has received is something he has never experienced.
I can't ever thank you enough for what you do for me. But I tell you this, I'm never going to stop motivating people, because that's what you're doing to me. And I got to give it back.
With the nurses providing a special kind of hope.
No matter what, he has a warm home to be in. That's something that my degree didn't teach me.
Giving him and Tate a place to call home.
You know, my husband always says, you can't save the world. I said, one person at a time.
Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, Frank says the home he lost to the fire was up to code with no running water and only an extension cord for electricity, but he was used to the inconvenience. Now all he needs to reach for is that tip of a finger. Kentucky State Police released the name of one of the two people killed in a crash in Floyd County on Monday. Troopers say the crash happened at about 8 a.m. near Kentucky Route 1428 in the Allen community. Officers say 39-year-old Paula Vasquez of Prestonsburg died at the scene. A juvenile passenger in her vehicle also died from their injuries after being taken to a hospital. Their name has not been released. The Laurel County Coroner's Office told WYMT it has identified the body of a missing woman. Angelia Satterfield was last seen around noon on January 23rd at the Cumberland Falls State Resort Park. On January 28th, the London Laurel Rescue Squad said rescue units pulled a body from a lake in London. It was called in by a fisherman around 11:35 that morning. The body was later identified as Satterfield. Now, the details surrounding her death have not been released. 2 people were indicted in connection with an infant's death in Rockcastle County on Friday. Kentucky State Police says the investigation began on August 2nd last year. A grand jury indicted 23-year-old Kirsten Durham and her then boyfriend, 32-year-old Jonathan Durbin. Both are facing 1 count of second-degree manslaughter and 1 count of second-degree criminal abuse. The Rockcastle County Sheriff's Office is investigating an incident where a man ran away after he attempted to steal money from an ATM. The Sheriff's Office says the incident happened Tuesday morning at the Community Trust Bank on Lake Cumberland Road. Mount Vernon police officers began chasing a white box truck traveling on Interstate 75, but ended the chase due to public safety issues and deteriorating road conditions. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Rockcastle County Sheriff's Office. Well, there was a big mess on a busy on a busy road in southern Kentucky Tuesday morning after a tanker truck carrying thousands of gallons of milk crashed. It happened just past the off-ramp at Hal Rogers Parkway onto the 914 bypass in Somerset. Emergency crews say the tanker was headed into Somerset from the parkway when it flipped over and actually barrel rolled. The driver was taken to a hospital for what we are told non-life-threatening injuries. An environmental crew was called to clean up the milk, which could cause problems if it got into waterways.
In the quantities that this is, milk can be a danger to aquatic life. It pulls the oxygen out, it dilutes into the water. So it's not a mixture. And with that, fish, other aquatic life basically suffocate.
Officials say this was at least the 10th crash on that off-ramp and say what caused this one is still under investigation. Before Kentucky State Police officials are out assessing an emergency, many of those calls will come through at telecommunications centers like the one at KSP Post 13 here in Hazard. To continue this work, 14 KSP Telecommunications Academy graduates will be joining 8 posts across the Commonwealth. These telecommunicators have received more than 160 hours of training on various subjects.
You gotta have thick skin. You gotta have real thick skin. Not every caller is gonna be nice to you. There's some you really gotta rip the information out of them, and it's not always easy. It's just asking them one question, there's the answer. It's always question after question after question to get one answer. It takes a lot more than people think.
KSP Post 13 telecom manager, Chris Hayes says there are a lot of calls that will stay with you for the rest of your life, so it's important that KSP is very selective as to who it has handling those situations. On Tuesday, Somerset Mayor Alan Keck held a town hall meeting at the Tourism and Convention Center in Williamsburg. WYMT's Keaton Hall has more on how the candidate looks to break out from the pack.
Republican candidate for governor Alan Keck is hoping to separate himself from the crowded Republican field by sticking to his game plan, the most important piece of which, he says, is family.
I think a strong family is going to have the work ethic that built this country. And, we've got a workforce crisis now, and so much of that's because we're not being taught at home.
Keck held a town hall meeting in Williamsburg on Tuesday, sharing his plan and listening to audience questions and feedback.
I'm just a change agent that's willing to get things done, and if I think something's a good idea, I don't really care whose it is. On our team, we talk about no pride in ownership, and by that I mean regardless of whose idea it is, if it's effective, let's do it.
Keck says he doesn't want Eastern Kentucky to be left behind, praising its natural beauty and resilience.
There are some that want to stay and rebuild, and gosh, I love that. I'm proud to be from East Kentucky. I think we're a special people with grit and determination, but we've got to celebrate our natural assets, right?
Natural assets, including coal.
That we are blessed with immense natural resources, not just beauty, coal, natural gas, a little bit of oil, and we've proven that we can, get it out of the ground effectively, and I think, the federal government has penalized that.
Keck is hoping to build more steam before the primary election on May 16th. In Williamsburg, Keaton Hall, WYMT Mountain News.
The Williamsburg Tourism and Convention Center will also be hosting Kelly Craft for a similar event this Friday. Williamsburg Mayor Roddy Harrison says all gubernatorial candidates are welcome in his city. Well, just ahead, Barbie continues to make strides in its mission to be inclusive with its latest doll. We'll have those details in just a few minutes.
And we are watching out for possibly another round of wintry mix tomorrow morning. All that and more coming up right after this.